Fresh document has revealed Senator Samuel Anyanwu as the authentic National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. The letter dated May 7, 2025 was sent to the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission and co-signed by Ambassador Umar Damagum, acting national chairman, and Senator Anyanwu, who signed in the capacity of National Secretary. The document confirmed Jude Ezenwafo as the PDP's candidate for November 8, 2025 Anambra governorship election. INEC acknowledged receipt of the document on May 12, 2025. However, Anyanwu's appearance on official party documents contradicts the position of the PDP Governors Forum and the National Working Committee, which had earlier declared him ineligible and named Deputy National Secretary Setonji Goshedo as acting National Secretary. The development follows a Supreme Court decision that voided a previous Court of Appeal ruling upholding Anyanwu's removal. The Apex Court said the matter was an internal party affair and not for judicial interpretation. Supporters of the PDP candidate for the 2023 Imo State gubernatorial election viewed the declaration as a reinstatement, but PDP leaders insisted it only confirms the party's right to decide its leadership. Recall that in 2023, the Southeast Zone replaced Anyanwu after he emerged as the party's governorship candidate. The zone nominated Sunday Udokoye, who was ratified by the National Working Committee, Board of Trustees, and the PDP Governors Forum. Despite this, both Anyanwu and Udokoye continued to claim the position. Meanwhile, the PDP Governors Forum, in a communique issued during its April 2025 meeting in Ibadan, Oyo State, declared both Anyanwu and Udokoye unfit to act as National Secretary. Following that recommendation, Setonji Goshedo was appointed acting National Secretary. Now, Honorable Kingsley Akumefule,
yes,
back and forth. Now, PDP's balkanization appears to have no end. But let me ask you first what you make of the story and, these documents with Anyanwu signing as the National Secretary. To a large extent, it authenticates his position.
Yes, as it is today, following the Supreme Court judgment, Anyanwu is the authentic secretary of the party until such a time that there will be either a zonal congress or a NEC meeting where any decision would arise. But when you look at, if you listen to the former governor of Benue State, day before yesterday, I think, when he spoke on...
When he was analyzing
yes,
the PDP
he spoke on the issues of the PDP and the current committee, the Reconciliation Committee headed by Bukola Saraki. You will notice that majority of the leaders of PDP, especially those who are against the FCT minister, are not supporting the Anyanwu of a person. But to him, he insisted that as it is today, that it was right and constitutional for Anyanwu to have signed that document following that Supreme Court judgment. But he also said that he sees a crisis where the moment a meeting is held and the Southeast are asked to go make their nomination, because it is in their position to nominate the secretary, because it's zoned to their...
Udokoye will still be
nominated. That based on what Soswan said, it means that they will not definitely nominate Anyanwu. They will still nominate Udokoye. But until that time when such decisions will be taken, Senator Anyanwu remains the secretary of the PDP. And that is the reason why he was allowed to sign that document. And INEC received that document because they are in receipt of the judgment of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court had just said that the parties, I've always said that in here, and this judgment didn't just come because of this Anyanwu. It's been there since, I think, 2019 or so. 2019.
Even long before we returned to democratic.
Because we had a judgment when my own faction of APC, when we were fighting with Amechi, we got to Supreme Court. And Supreme Court has said that the parties are supreme And parties have right to take their decisions. So every other person who is going to court now, they are going based on that judgment, and Speaker is trying to refer back to that judgment. And so what it means that the party, the PDP, should return to status quo. Who was the secretary prior before this judgment? It was Anyanwu who was the secretary. And therefore, Anyanwu remains the secretary until such a time that the party, the highest decision-making body of that, which is the NEC, would take a decision on that matter. Either they go by zonal decision on congresses, or they conduct a fresh elections where a new secretary or new leadership would emerge. But the challenge we have in PDP is they have a chairman who is neither here nor there. He's just pendulumic. Anywhere the game plays in, he's there. He supports Wike when he sees that Wike is winning the game. When he sees that the team is going the other way, he goes the other way. The moment Anyanwu was removed, Damagon supported Udo Okoye very strongly. And yes, very strongly. And now that the game has also turned, he's just nowhere. I don't understand how they brought a man like that. He's even worse, more unstable than Sim. I don't know where he is. He only is wherever the money goes, he goes there and all that. I just pray that going forward, our political parties and political representative will be decided on who actually has the character. If you do not have character, you have no place in leadership. That is all about character. Most of the characters I see holding responsible offices, high-profile offices like this, I don't see them as men of character. And we need men of integrity and character to be. If Damagon had taken a position as a chairman, what is happening in PDP wouldn't have gotten to this level. Because he's so relaxed, because anyone that comes, they give him money, he collects, give him money. How long will you continue? When you leave this office, what imprint will you have made? How will people rate you? What will say about you? That within the time you were in office, these were the things you did. Or would they say, leave that one, it's just all about money? This is not right for leaders. So I think that PDP, as it is today, should still hold on to Anyanwu until such a time Anyanwu will be removed by the right way, either by a Congress or by a NEC decision.
All right, very well. Amy, what is your take?
The matter in PDP is a matter of interest. If you check very well, we have the general interest, which is the PDP interest. Then we have the pro and anti-interest. Then we have the interests of the PDP Governors Forum. If you check very well, when you were reading through, I followed you and I listened to you keenly, where you made mention that Udo Okoye was ratified. The thing that came to my mind was that who ratified Udo Okoye? They said the National Working Committee,
Board of Trustees,
Board of Trustees,
PDP Governors Forum
ratified Udo Okoye. At what time was that ratification done? Was he at the verge of the crisis or before the crisis, the disagreement? Because we had a situation at a time when the PDP National Working Committee will take a stand. Kola will take another stand. And we tell you that this is what the PDP have agreed. Meanwhile, the Damagon group, the national chairman, secretary, or whatever, will not be party to that decision.
That's Debo Ologunaba, not Kola.
Okay, Debo, yes, Debo. Sorry, the PDP secretary.
The national publicity.
It's publicity secretary now.
Not secretary.
Publicity
secretary. That's Debo Ologunaba.
Yes, now. Publicity secretary.
Yes.
Of the PDP.
Yes.
That's what I said now. So, you see, I believe it belongs to certain interests. So that was why we recorded these conflict positions and decisions taken at a time. So if you said the position of Udo Okoye was ratified, so who ratified that position that he was replaced? These are some of the questions that are begging for answers. Then aside that, I also noticed that going by the PDP organizational structure, the one I know, Governor Forum is not one of the organ, it's not one of the structure. So it therefore means the Governor Forum of the PDP is an interest group who should play advisory role. And whatever advice they ought to give to the party is not mandatory. It can be accepted or rejected. No law binds the party. So, going by another area you read, that the PDP Governors Forum, they nominated somebody,
the Deputy National Secretary,
to take over from both Anyanwu and Udokoye, yes, because they declared those two persons unfit. They are unfit to head that position at a time. The question is, from where did they derive that power to so do? So, you see, there are so many things about the PDP issues. We really need to look at the problem critically to know what to recommend as the solution.
Second question, can National Working Committee
now
ratify? Is it National Working Committee that ratifies or the NEC? Is the NEC?
The PDP organizational structure has what they call the NC, the National Convention. From there, you now have the National Working Committee, National Executive Committee. That is the national level. Anyanwu came to power through what? Through National Convention. So if it's to be removed, it's not by a group of people who will sit somewhere and said, we've removed him or we are replacing him. It means he must be removed according to the law of the PDP or the practice of the PDP. When the Supreme Court says issue of intra-party squabble or whatever are internal affairs, he established the supremacy of the PDP to decide who should be removed and who should continue. And by removal, you must follow certain procedures of the party. And for you to re-elect somebody or to appoint, the procedure must also be followed. Among all of this, you can see the problem the PDP Governor Forum is creating. Try to assume power that they don't have. They have made themselves an organ, a decision-taking body of the PDP, which is alien to the PDP constitution and PDP practice. If somebody must contest a position, does the PDP constitution provide that the person must first of all resign before going to contest that position and the person cannot come back? Obviously, there is a lacuna in PDP constitution. So when there is a lacuna, it is not only on some group of persons or interest group to assume the most powerful organ of the party and to take decision because you feel that you have access to state resources that are not yours.
Initially, to answer that question, because I have the PDP constitution and I've actually taken my time to go through the PDP constitution. Now, with regards to that, the PDP constitution, when it comes that it initially, because I had to do my investigations, and he said initially that constitution was amended. It was, if you want to run for a position, you shall resign. But later it was amended and changed to may, which is optional. Optional. Right. Yeah. It was now changed from shall to may. To may.
If you are elected.
If you want to run for elective position. Initially it was you shall resign, which is
mandatory.
Yeah. Yes. But after that, I think something happened from my investigation, and that constitution was amended. And that shall was replaced with may. And replaced with, I have PDP constitution, yes, even in my office right now, yeah, and it was with me. Now that may now makes it.
It's not. I cannot decide whether to decide.
It is at the discretion of that person.
Or I will not resign.
And then, while I was researching further, I came in. I assessed a letter that was written by Senator Samuel Anyanwu when he wanted to run for that election. He actually took leave of absence. He took leave of absence and assigned his deputy to act in his absence. So he did not leave his office. And secondly, the question would be, if a position has an assistant or a deputy, the constitution mandates the deputy to act in the absence of the main office holder. So if Senator Anyanwu actually took leave of absence from office and then handed over to his deputy to act in his absence. I'm trying to understand how this crisis even came up.
It's simple. This thing is simple. Leave of absence, right? I am going on a journey. I won't be back until ABCD days or months. Act in my place.
Yeah.
Now I went on the journey and I returned. I say, bros, I am back. I am taking my position. So where should there be argument? All I needed to do is to write the same letter of resumption. I'm resuming my position since the Constitution say I may, which is discretional. And I didn't tender my letter of resignation. So why are you saying I am a former National Secretary? To what extent? Why? So that is a lacuna I was pointing at. So if you have a lacuna in your Constitution, what you do is to seek for a means to address it by the means of what? Amendment. You amend that lacuna, that constitutional provision that create the lacuna, you amend it to cover it up. You didn't do so, but rather you decided that some persons will not come back. No, now, and the matter now went to court, the apex court of the land, and he told you that such a matter was not supposed to come to the court because it's an internal affairs of the party. You know that what the party is supreme to take decision on how he wants to run our affairs. So convention has not been called. So who removed Anyanwu? Who removed him from the position? So you see, that is why I say it is a problem of interest. They should sit down, watch these their interests, harmonize them for PDP to continue as a PDP, because we need a viable opposition party that will keep the APC on tow. I'm not talking about opposition that quote wrong statistics and try to mislead Nigeria, incite Nigeria in some subtle ways.
All right, very well. Honorable Kingsley Akumefule, very quickly, I am interested in the timing. Leave of absence was taken. You know, this election happened in 2023.
Yes. And
PDP, that position was not being contested. The position of the National Secretary was not being contested in 2023. There was no issue up until recently, late 2024, that issues started around, and at that time, Senator Anyanwu was already done and back and assumed he acting in that capacity, and then suddenly the people only woke up and remembered that they appointed Udokoye or elected, whatever it is that was done, elected Udokoye to, take over from Senator Samuel Anyanwu. That's number one. Now, number two, I'm questioning the ratification. Ratification is done by the highest decision-making body of the party, which is the NEC, correct?
Yes.
So when did NEC cede their powers to the NWC? When did NEC cede their powers to the Board of Trustees? And when did NEC cede their powers to PDP Governors Forum to ratify? You are a party man, and I want to understand, where I'm getting it wrong and how this is, how we arrived here.
You're not getting anything wrong. Also, are politicians. The truth of the whole matter is interest. He has said everything. As at the time the presidential election ended in 2023, and they saw the roles that Nyesom Wike played in that election, and his subsequent emergence as a minister of the FCT under another government, and perhaps the support that they think that Anyanwu is giving to Nyesom Wike, the whole cloud began to gather. Those who felt Nyesom Wike had done something wrong against their interest started, meeting and all that. That was the reason for which you see the delay from 2020 around June or so, 2024, when this crisis started to come up. So after the whole meetings, I felt if we continue to leave Anyanwu in the PDP, they will keep doing the interest of Nyesom Wike, his biddings in the PDP. and therefore let us look for a way to pull him out. That is just the center of the whole thing.
Okay.
Other than this, no other fight. If Anyanwu had decided not to support Nyesom Wike and backed off and perhaps supported the other faction, nobody would have fought his removal. Nobody will even think about it. Okay. The whole thing is about interest, you know. And because they have become interest, these other people also need to fight back, you know. But in fighting back, you must follow some rules. If those rules are not followed, you won't get judgment. You won't. Like we all know, apart from the NEC, you can't take a final decision. It is only when NEC has ceded their powers to the NWC that NWC acts in place of the NEC. And they will also tell you that because NEC has given us this authority, we are acting so, and so. Or because he emerged through a Congress, there should be a Congress. And so, rather than doing all this, they are just playing by the... If you are sick of malaria and you begin to take medicine for typhoid, you will never cure your malaria. That's the challenge PDP has. They have always taken the wrong solutions to their problem. Until they take the right solution to their problem, they won't get to solving those issues.
In your opinion, do you think PDP stands a chance in 2027?
No, I've said that long ago.
Considering the reconciliation committee with Saraki heading it, do you see reconciliation? Do you think it's belated at this point?
First and foremost, if you had listened to Soswan, you will see the man was very transparent, very open. He said he was a member of the House of Representatives. He became a governor and later went to the Senate. And he is one of the founding members of PDP in his state and in Nigeria. He cannot lie to it. That was what he said. He said, in this matter, Anyanwu still remains the secretary. But he doesn't think that the Southeast Caucus, when they will have their own regional meeting, would renominate him. Say, but for this committee, he doesn't see anything. But though it is not bad that they've started, it's better to start than not to start.
At all.
But for me, I think that whatever committee they are setting up is not for 2027. It should be for
it's too late.
No, very, very late. Look at those who attended the governors who attended the meeting. Majority of them are already on their way out of PDP.
And one is still a PDP member, but endorsed Tinubu.
Okay, so what are you going to? What are you saying about it? So the house is already destroyed. It's already destroyed. So of course, you know, when you destroy a thing, rebuilding it is difficult. So it's not something you do within a very short period of time. Yes, it's good to have a reconciliation committee, but they are starting barely late. And I think that whatever committee they are reconstituting should be for after 2027.
2031.
Yes, not for 2027. Because already 2027 is done and dusted. With what is happening in Nigeria, everybody knows what is going to happen in 2027.
All right, thank you.